want to dive into the story. The title of this story is Horseshoes aren't just for good luck. Introduction. I had my best summer vacation when I was 9. I went to visit Graham, my great-grandmother, and I saw the ocean for the first time. Life by the sea. I rode on a train from the city all by myself. Graham and her friend Jim met me at the train station, and we drove to Graham's big gray house. In a small beach town, most people walked or rode bicycles. I even saw horse carriages. Graham's house has a colorful flower garden and a big front porch. He told me to pick the bedroom I want. So I picked the yellow room. It had a window that faced the ocean. In my summer home, I was very quiet. It was very quiet in Graham's house, but I could hear the sound of the waves. I wanted to see them up close. I ran downstairs to go to the beach. Graham stopped me. She said I couldn't go to the beach until I had learned the roar of the sea. She took off our shoes. We took off our shoes and walked to the beach together. Graham said I could walk along the beach between two rock jetties. The jetties are tall were walls of rock that helped to keep the beach sand from eroding away into the sea. Graham said not to go to the water unless she or Jim were with me. She told me about currents. The currents were strong flows of water that could drag me far out into the ocean. I learned a lot. That night, moonlight streamed into my window. Into my room. I went to sleep listening to the waves. Horseshoe crabs. I woke up, the sun shining on my face. I dressed quickly and ran downstairs as Graham called, "Remember the rules!" I nodded as I hurried out the back door. When I got down to the beach, I saw the sand was covered in brownish gray round things. They had shells and pointed tails. Some of them were lying on their back and wiggling. At breakfast, I asked Graham what those creatures on the beach were. I said they were horseshoe crabs, a type of arthropod. She said the wave carried them into the beach. I told Graham about the wiggling one turned upside down. She said they used their tail to try to turn themselves back into their legs. If they can't turn over, they get too hot and die. Graham told me that when the tide goes out, some crabs are left stranding on the beach to stay cool. They try to dig into the wet sand. She said the female crab lay green jelly-like eggs a few inches under the wet sand. A female Horseshoe crab can lay 80,000 eggs in one season. Graham said that within 2 weeks, larvae that developed from the egg wash out the ocean. Is new larvae don't have tails yet. Toward the end of the summer, they molt or shed their skin. Then they grow tails. After breakfast, we walked down to the beach. Graham turned the upside-down crabs. She also put shredded ones back into the ocean. She said when crabs get tired of swimming, they turn over into their bags and float like they're on the shell like little boats. When they're hungry, they let themselves sink slowly to the bottom of the ocean. On the bottom, the crab eats plankton, small crabs, worms, and other tiny sea animals. They grind food with their legs, so they have to be walking to chew their food. Scientists study horseshoe crabs to learn more about their 9 eyes and nervous system. Also, their blood can be used to test for some human diseases. And test new drug. Graham said horseshoe crabs have been around since dinosaurs roamed the earth. Rescuing. Graham gave me a job to do. Every morning, I hurried to the beach to save as many crabs as I could. I would turn them over and toss them back into the ocean wave. Sometimes I tossed them from the end of the jetty in wave. Good luck to them. Also, I tried to chase birds away when I saw them eating the eggs. But Graham told me not to do that because the birds needed the egg as food to survive. One morning, all the horseshoe crabs were gone. When I ran back to the house, Graham said they were done laying eggs until next year. She told me that next year I would have to come back to save more crabs. I walked back to the beach and lay down on a warming sand. Saving the crabs was exciting, but my summer vacation has just begun. What would I do now? Which sentence below is an opinion? Horseshoe crab looks scary with the shell and pointed tail. Female horseshoe crabs can lay 80,000 eggs in one season. Horseshoe crabs stay cool by digging into the wet sand. The crabs turn over to the back to float on the shell like boats. I choose B. Graham wanted the natural to before going to the beach. Alone. Learn how to be safe. Pick out a bedroom. Eat dinner. Go to the store. The natural pick one bedroom because It was the biggest. It had a small bed. It had a window facing the ocean. It was closest to Graham's bedroom. I choose C. JDs were built to stop the ocean from flooding the town, for people to walk on, to prevent the ocean from eroding, the beach from eroding, so more people could come visit the town. I choose C. How did the nursery feel when first seeing the horseshoe crab? Surprised, worried, scared, lonely. I choose A. If an animal shed its skin, we say it rose, mold, burrows, eroded. I choose B. Before a horseshoe crab eats it, sink to the bottom of the sea. Turn over and float, swim to shore, sit on a rock. I choose C. Why did Graham think it was okay for bird to eat some of the horseshoe crab's egg? There were too many horseshoe crabs. The bird would die from eating them. The bird needed them for their food. The eggs made a mess on the beach. I choose C, which is not a fact about horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs have 9 eyes. Horseshoe crabs eat tiny sea animals. Horseshoe crabs are mammals. Horseshoe crabs have a nervous system. I choose C. A current is a small animal that lives only in salt water. A flow of water moving in one direction. A wave of high water, a smooth storm. I choose C.
Click on the items with the red X and find a better answer to improve your score and earn more stars. Use the book as you take the quiz to help you find the best answer. When finished, click Done.
I got 8 of 10 correct. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.